10-mile marker, alternative ending.
Thomas, a bus driver with 25 years of experience, had been navigating the same quiet countryside route for ages. His regular passengers, familiar faces who depended on his service, always greeted him warmly. The night before, he felt unwell, sweating, coughing, and battling a pounding headache that robbed him of restful sleep. Determined not to disappoint his passengers, many of whom relied on his bus to get to work, he took painkillers with his breakfast that morning. Despite his cold and flu symptoms, Thomas set out for work as usual. The coach left the depot on time, and his regular passengers were thankful he showed up. Just 20 minutes into the drive, with the bus half full of familiar passengers, the painkillers and lack of sleep began to take their toll. His focus began to slip as he became very weary. A sudden rattling cough jolted Thomas from his drowsy haze, just in time to notice the bend ahead, near the 10-mile marker and the river bridge. He eased off the accelerator, slowing the bus enough to navigate the turn, though still faster than was safe. The close call rattled Thomas and his passengers. His heart pounded, the weight of nearly endangering a busload of lives sinking in. A faint chill of danger lingered in the air. One passenger called out, "Thomas, you okay?" The bridge and 10-mile marker loomed just ahead. Thomas tried to respond, aiming to say, "I'm fine, folks, sorry about that." But another harsh cough choked his words, stifling his voice. As the cough tore through him, darkness closed in. Thomas blacked out completely, slumping heavily over the steering wheel. Thomas stirred, his consciousness flickering back to life. Slowly, his vision cleared, revealing a pale sky above. Confusion gripped him. Why was he staring upward? Then it hit him. He was lying flat on his back. The memory of blacking out surged back, and he bolted upright, heart racing as he took in his surroundings. For a fleeting moment, he was disoriented, but dread soon flooded his chest as reality snapped into focus. Glancing around, he spotted several passengers sprawled along the riverbank beside him, soaked and shaken. His bus was in the middle of the churning river, its frame half submerged. Across the water, a trail of crushed shrubs marked the path where the bus had veered off the road and plunged into the water. Thomas staggered to his feet, urgency overriding his shock. He checked on the passengers nearby, some coughing and dazed. Shouts for help pierced the air, drawing his gaze back to the bus. Through its fogged windows, he saw figures waving frantically, trapped inside. Compelled to act, Thomas plunged into the cold river, swimming toward the stranded bus. His limbs ached, but he pushed forward, driven by duty to save his passengers. Reaching the bus, he forced his way through the door, water sloshing around him. But the sight inside stopped him cold. There were no survivors waving for help, only lifeless bodies, corpses, some reduced to skeletal remains, staring blankly from the rusted seats. Horror seized him. The ghastly scene was too much. Thomas scrambled back out, his breath ragged. Somehow he found the strength to swim back to the shore, collapsing beside the other survivors. The survivors huddled around Thomas, their faces a mix of fear and confusion. "Why didn't you bring anyone back?" one demanded, voice sharp with accusation. Thomas struggled to explain, his throat raw from coughing. "When I got there, no one was alive. Just bodies, corpses, skeletons. How is that possible?" The group stared incredulously and pointed across the river. "You're mistaken, Thomas," said a woman. "There are people still in the bus, waving, shouting for help. They wouldn't be there if it weren't for you." Sure enough, cries echoed over the water and shadowy figures moved in the bus's windows, arms flailing. Thomas froze, doubt gnawing at him. How had he missed them? Could there still be survivors? The survivors on the riverbank urged him to his feet. Driven by guilt and a flicker of hope, Thomas plunged back into the icy current, swimming toward the bus once more. He climbed through the door, water swirling at his knees. But inside, the same grim sight awaited: lifeless bodies and skeletal remains. Before he could process the horror, the bus shuddered violently. It broke free from the rocks anchoring it, lurching forward as the river's current seized it. Thomas grabbed the back of a rusty old seat to steady himself as water flooded in. He felt his world go hazy and dark as the bus, fully submerged, was swept down the river. A sudden rattling cough jolted Thomas from his drowsy haze, just in time to notice the bend ahead, near the 10-mile marker and the river bridge. He eased off the accelerator, slowing the bus enough to navigate the turn. Thomas would have been shocked and confused, wondering if he had just experienced déjà vu, like he did the first few times. However, he knew what was about to happen. He knew that no matter what he tried to do differently, the same scenario was about to play out yet again. He knew he was about to black out yet again. He knew he would wake up lying flat on his back on the embankment. He knew he would be compelled to swim out and try to rescue those on the bus in the middle of the river. He didn't know why he couldn't change the events that were about to unfold. No matter what he tried to do differently, he would end up being swept away in the sinking bus and drown, just as he had done for the last 2,000 days. A car drove past the 10-mile marker sign, its tires humming on the quiet road. In the back seat, a little girl gazing out the window spotted a weathered plaque and bunches of wilted flowers. "Mom, what are those flowers for?" she asked. Her mother glanced over, her expression softening with sadness. "5 years ago, there was a terrible accident here, sweetheart. A bus veered off the road and into the river." The girl's eyes widened. "Was everyone okay?" Her mother hesitated, then shook her head. "No, honey. Everyone died." Looking down at the river as the car crossed the bridge, the little girl could have sworn she saw a bunch of ghostly figures by the side of the river pointing at an old rusty bus.